The sun blazed hot over the vast Texas plains, shimmering across the horizon where dust swirled in the distance, a storm of hooves and wheels tearing its way down the rutted trail. And at its center was a runaway wagon, its horses wild-eyed and frothing at the mouth, reins flapping uselessly in the wind, the driver clinging desperately to the seat as the wagon swerved dangerously from side to side, bouncing over rocks and threatening to topple at every turn. And inside that battered wooden frame sat a young woman with terror etched into her face, her delicate hands gripping the side rail until her knuckles went white, her bonnet torn by the rushing wind as she screamed for help. The sound carried across the open land like a cry meant for the heavens themselves. And somewhere not far away, a cowboy heard it, a lone rider who had been trailing the herd back toward town, his Stetson pulled low, his sharp eyes scanning the prairie until they caught sight of the chaos. And without a second thought, he dug his spurs into the flanks of his horse, charging forward like lightning, determination burning in his chest, because no man of honor could watch such danger unfold and ride away. No, not this cowboy, for he was bred from the old code of courage, loyalty, and grit. And the sight of that wagon tearing itself apart struck him deep, telling him that if he didn't act now, the girl inside would be lost forever. And as he galloped closer, dust stung his eyes and the pounding hooves of his mount matched the thunder of the runaway team, the ground trembling beneath the wild race. And he shouted to the girl, his voice cutting through the roar of wheels and the terrified cries of horses, "Hold on." And for the briefest second, her wide, frightened eyes locked with his, eyes the color of summer skies before a storm. And in that instant something unspoken passed between them, a silent promise that he would not let her fall, that no matter the risk, she would be safe in his arms. And fate wasted no time in testing that vow, for as the wagon hit a rut and leapt high, the girl was tossed upward, flung like a ragdoll into the open air, her scream piercing the heavens as the world seemed to spin around her. And in that moment, time slowed, her body weightless, her bonnet flying free, her hair streaming like a golden flame in the sunlight. And the cowboy leaned from his saddle, stretching out his arms with the strength of desperation, his heart hammering like the hooves beneath him. And then miracle met courage. He caught her with a force that nearly pulled him clean from his horse. But he held fast, his grip iron, his body shielding her as the wagon tore past, empty now, crashing into a stand of mesquite where it shattered into splinters, while the horses broke free and bolted into the hills. And silence fell over the plain, save for the heavy breaths of man, woman, and beast. And in that silence she clung to him, trembling against the leather of his vest, her fingers fisting into his shirt as if letting go meant death. And he looked down at her, his chest rising and falling, dust streaking his jaw, sweat glistening on his brow. And he said in a voice low and steady, "You're safe now, darlin'. I've got you." Words as gentle as a prayer and as solid as the earth beneath them. And she tilted her face up, tears glistening in her lashes, and whispered, "You saved my life," her voice breaking, the weight of her gratitude heavy in every syllable. But the cowboy just shook his head, lips curving into a faint smile beneath the shadow of his hat. Because to him it wasn't heroism, it was simply what had to be done, the only choice a man with a soul could make. Yet even as he told himself that, he knew something deeper had taken root. For in her eyes he saw more than thanks. He saw a story yet to be written, a bond forged not in words but in fire, dust, and danger. And as he set her gently on the ground, steadying her on shaking legs, she clung to his arm, unable to release the anchor he had become in the storm. And the cowboy, though hardened by years of trail and toil, felt his heart soften in a way it hadn't in years, maybe ever, because this girl, this stranger hurled into his arms by fate, had changed everything in the span of a heartbeat. And as the prairie winds swept across them carrying the scent of sage and dust, he knew this was only the beginning, that destiny had tied their paths together in a knot no blade could cut. And though danger had brought them together, something far stronger was rising between them, something that would not be shaken by runaway wagons or the cruelty of fate. And to those listening now, if you want to see how this tale unfolds, if you want to ride further into the fire, the passion, and the unbreakable bond between a cowboy and the woman destiny threw into his arms, then don't just walk away. Saddle up with us, subscribe to the channel, join the journey, and be part of every twist and turn of this powerful Western love story. Because trust me, the trail ahead only gets wilder from here.